Yes, I am here from Bosworth Corp, Bosworth Corporation. That is who you are time traveling with today. My name is Bosworth ASMR, and I'm here because I received a service call that you might be in distress. Okay, let me just get my little device here and we can pull you up in the system. All right, and what is your name? And your date of birth? Yeah, you're about my age. Just kidding. I'm like 300 years old. Okay. And what seems to be the problem? Yes. Okay, let me just verify a couple things. What year are we in? 1775. It looks about right. And we are obviously in the Hall of Mirrors in Versailles, France. Yes, I see it all here. Let me get you scanned in real quick, okay? And there you are. I see you here. Okay, and okay, what seems to be the problem? Yes, that is a pretty, I wouldn't say popular, but pretty common problem here in Versailles, especially in the 18th century. Many people don't know that it was open to the public, and so everybody comes in and there are no bathrooms anywhere, and so they kind of just go wherever they want, all over the stairs and the walls, and yes, okay, yeah. Okay, I brought a bag here with me. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are just going to neutralize some of the air here because it is very, this is just, it looks like there's just air in here, but it's not. Again, this is one of the many proprietary things that Bosworth Corp comes up with. It looks like air, so it travels very, very light, but it's actually neutralizing spray. Okay, so yeah, let me just get that all by you, and then on this side. Yeah, so there also, as you can see, you may have read it in our orientation. This is why we try to include it in our orientation, that there are wild pigs here, and ducks, and sometimes horses even roaming the halls here, just going, relieving themselves in the hallways, and it's very, very stinky. And of course, there are many candles everywhere for lighting and things like that, and so there's smoke everywhere, as you can see. So that brings me to my next point here, that I need to go ahead and check your lungs just to make sure that everything is okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to just breathe normally, okay? And I'm just gonna put this on your chest here. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, again, in and out. Okay, now I'm just going to check on this side too. Yeah. Okay, now breathe in and out. Okay, again, in and out. Okay. Yeah, everything seems to be working okay. I don't sense any buildup of anything crazy in your lungs. So that is a good sign. And so the next thing that we're going to do real quick is we're just going to take out one of our, you may have seen this before on some of your other trips. This is our, it releases sort of pheromones, but sometimes injected this one. It's full of a gel, and we have lots of them. You just kind of inject it with a compound and nanobots that are programmed to make it do certain things when you squeeze it. And this is going to just kind of suck in some of that air. You know, carbon does that sometimes, or like baking soda does that. This does it like really strongly. So we're just gonna squeeze that around. Yeah. Okay. We'll just get a little over here and over here. And we'll just kind of let it do its thing. Yeah, you can tell the air is so fresh, so fresh. It's sometimes even more fresh than like if you were going on, you know, a hike or something. It can be. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, and I brought this just for you because I saw in your profile that you really like lemon. So this is just the essence of lemon, and I'm gonna kind of do some squeezes on it, some taps. And it's really gonna just bring out some of that lemon essence, so everything just feels a little bit cleaner, you know. Okay, is that, yes, and over here as well. Okay, good, that feels really good to me. So now, what I'd like to do is, now that we've gotten that all taken care of, I'm going to check your blood pressure, because it, you know, sometimes it's really stressful in these environments people aren't expecting. Let's just put your arm right up here, okay? Okay. Yeah. Sometimes people aren't expecting all of the smells and, you know, other stuff that they might be seeing that would be considered totally disgusting to us, but let's take a look. Yeah, you're good. Okay, your blood pressure looks excellent. Let's just release here a bit. Okay. All right. Yes, it's great news not to doubt any anxiety or anything like that. Let's just take that off. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then now I'm just going to take your temperature. Let me turn this on. Okay, now this is set for just your skin temperature, is what we're going to be taking right now, okay? So let me just, yeah, so, yeah, and I know Marie Antoinette herself used to have secret passages in Versailles. She would, 1775, so she would be about 20 years old now, I believe. And she is the Queen of France, or I believe she's the Queen Consort. I don't think she's Queen in her own right. But she's here around this time now, coming here for a few years, and she has all these like secret rooms and stuff so she can get away from everybody. And because Versailles is open to the public, I'm going to just change this to measure under the muscles. Yeah, okay. So we can just check that out. Make sure you've received no major injuries. So because everything is open to the public and there's just like really crazy stuff here, she had like secret rooms and passages in the walls and stuff. So you might want to stay out of those because you don't want to like intrude on anything. And above all else, you remember that you cannot interfere. You cannot be like, oh, I'm from the future, so I know where your sacred passages are. That would be disastrous. And our vetting of you shows that you are not the type to do that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I am going to take my magnifying glass here. Yes, I brought a magnifying glass. It's because I need to make sure that you don't have any lice, or like maybe sometimes you might get like a scratch that could get infected or something. And no, don't worry, you probably don't have it, and if you do, I have plenty of antiseptics here. So okay, I'm just gonna take a look here. Yeah, okay, I see. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna look right here on your face, just to like see, make sure that everything. Was that oh no, okay, that's not a scratch. It's the trick of the light. But what is that? Does that hurt when I do that on your nose? No? Okay, let me just take a look from the other side. Does that hurt? No? Okay. Well, we're just gonna look on the side of your face. I'm just gonna feel, sort of palpate on the side of your face here. Everything feels okay. Again, this is not to doubt that you have anxiety or that, you feel that something might be going on. This is to reassure you and to make sure that our customers are, taken care of. So let's look on this side here. Okay. I'm just gonna feel the side of your face here too, okay? Okay. And I'm gonna just kind of palpate a little on this side as well. It's very beautiful today. Did you know you're standing in a very important part? Okay, I'm gonna look at your chin, okay? You're standing in a very important hall. In this very hall in the late 1800s, I believe in the 1870s, is where the King of Prussia gave up his throne. And he basically was like, okay, I'm no longer King of Prussia. I'm actually going to be in charge of Germany. I'm actually going to rule Germany instead. And that's like basically when Germany became a country in the late 1870s. Okay, I don't see anything here. And then that eventually, of course, as we know, led to, I'm just going to look at your nose again, okay? I really want to make sure what I see. Okay. And then, of course, that led to all sorts of German identity because Germany was created. And then, okay, I'm looking at the other side here. And then that led to Germany feeling beset by larger countries around it. And then that kind of was part of World War I. Yes, okay. And then, of course, at the end of World War I, right here in the Hall of Mirrors, the treaty was signed to end World War I. So it's kind of ironic that the beginning of Germany started here and the end of World War I was also here. Very interesting. Anyways, I believe at this time, have you been to any of the balls? Are they throwing balls here? Since you've been here, I know around this time they are usually, but yes, I want to give you something that will help with the heat or any of the smells. This is a French hand. This is a French hand fan. You may not have seen anything like this, or perhaps in a museum you've seen it. Of course, we don't have anything so primitive in our time, but this would fit in very nicely here. So So, well, yes, Marie Antoinette, you're a fan. Okay, but you're not going to do anything. Like, don't warn her of what's going to happen. I know it's so tragic. I think about it all the time, oddly enough. Out of everything that, everywhere I've been in history, in hundreds of years that I've been alive, I can't stop thinking about Marie Antoinette. But you still cannot warn her of anything, because this is the way history is supposed to be, and it would be disastrous, as you know. You did watch the orientation film, didn't you? You said. Okay, good. So, besides, I heard directly from the Archduke of Austria himself, Edward Habsburg, that at the end, as she was led to the gallows, she was looking frantically everywhere in all of the windows, almost seemingly more occupied with that than her own impending death. And it was because he revealed to me that it is because before she died, someone visited her and told her that a Catholic priest, she was Catholic, and Catholics had been outlawed by the revolution. Catholic priests were not allowed, and so she was told that there would be a Catholic priest waiting in one of the windows to give her absolution, which is very necessary before, according to her faith, before you enter heaven, and she had been denied that by the revolutionaries, and so she was looking everywhere for him, and she found him. She saw him, and he gave her absolution, and she utterly, completely was at peace when that happened. And I'm getting goosebumps now just retelling the story as it was told to me by the Archduke. And so, yes, he is related to her. He is a Habsburg after all. He's the great-great-great-grandson of Franz Joseph I, who was the Austrian-Hungarian emperor at the start of World War I. He is a direct descendant of him, and this is the story he told me about Marie Antoinette. Isn't that wonderful? So, well, I wouldn't say wonderful necessarily, but it does give you a sense that once it was the end for her, she did experience peace. It's very tragic, though. One of the great injustices of the world, perhaps. I know a lot of people were mad at her, but the point being that it was an injustice because I don't think she actually disdained the poor. I think things that were said about her were later fictionalized in a way, but you may catch a glimpse of her and find for yourself the truth of her character. But don't get too close. She might notice, okay, that you don't fit in. So now, I see that this happens sometimes. I have some extra fabric here. It's kind of just like a lacy fabric. It's a very fine lace. And so I'm going to just put it around you here on the side. Okay, and then we're going to just, okay. Yeah, well, just, I'm tucking it in. It just kind of adds a little bit of that je ne sais quoi, you know. Do you know any French? That might help you. You don't, okay. Well, le français, c'est mon cinquième langue, donc ne sais pas très bon. That means French is my fourth language, so I don't know it very well. Yes, well, everyone at Bosworth Corp is required to know at least a couple languages, so you look wonderful here. And what I'm going to do next, because you will have some time here, I believe, another 2 days. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these diamonds, and I'm going Now, as you know, they are not valuable in our time. Oops, there goes one. That's okay. Yeah, you can pick it up. Okay, yeah, good. So, these are not very valuable in our time, but we can make them anytime we want, of course. But back in this time, now in 1775, they are exceedingly rare and valuable. And so, don't flash them around, okay? And you won't be able to break any pieces. What I want to recommend to you is to go to a jeweler or perhaps a nobleman and propose. Just offer him one and propose a business deal, and he might give you something in exchange that's less than a diamond. And it's sort of like he believes you're investing in his company, and maybe he gives you some gold coins and promises you returns on your investment, but you won't be here for those returns, and he'll just put it in an account or something, or just not find you. But you will at least have smaller change if he gives you gold coins. That is what I suggest. So here you go. Okay, so now one of the last things that we're going to be doing here is I want to ensure that you have a protection. We'll always like to offer protection if we can onto the skin. Yes. Okay, so yes. Our customers typically prefer to be guarded. So we offer this protection, and I will take a little bit here and put some in my palm. And what we're going to do is just simply rub it in, and then I'll rub it in your face, okay? Not rub it in your face, but rub it into, your skin, and it's gonna really just like help. Okay. Let's just get it in there. So, are you enjoying your stay here? Have you seen anyone particularly fancy or gone to any of the balls? I forgot to finish that question with you. Let's get some here on the side of your face. Well, you can certainly use one of those diamonds to buy as many dresses as you like. Just remember that you can't take them back with you. And perhaps bury the diamonds or something and just use one at a time so nobody tries to rob you or something and think that you have tons of money, You always want them to just be totally gracious to you and think that you have so much money that they'll do whatever for you. So if you give them a diamond for a few dresses, of course, they'll do whatever you want, and they'll just, let me get under your chin here, and they'll just ensure you have invitation to the ball, of course. I must remind you again that people here are very suspect and like to gossip a lot of newcomers. So perhaps you should have a backstory. Just kind of, come up with something like that can explain your appearance and also explain why you're not there anymore. Say you're from say you're from America, because now 1775, this is the year when Congress is meeting, the Continental Congress is meeting, and they're deciding whether or not to boycott British goods if it would to negatively impact the colonies or not. And there's very heated debates. I believe this is the first Continental Congress this year. And then the Declaration of Independence will be written next year. So as far as they know, that could explain everything. Like, oh, you're from the colonies, and, and maybe that's where you went back to, and that's why they never see you, and maybe you, died in the war. And so, they would never know. They'll never find you. Okay. Now I'm just gonna do a little bit more here. I'm just gonna do a little bit more. And I'm going to get the middle of your face, okay? We're just gonna get right there, okay? Just right on your nose. Yeah. All down here. You can tell like the smoke from the candles and stuff. Yeah, some of it just came over, and you can tell it's not getting onto your skin because this is protecting it. And you basically, I'm just really rubbing that in there, and you basically, as with all of our creams and gels and serums and things like that at Bosworth Corp, it will seep into your bones and kind of spread through your body and just give you that little extra bit of immunity. I know you've had some before you travel, but we like to give an update after traveling sometimes, especially if a customer has reported that they feel a little uneasy. Okay. Now, of course, I can do just a little bit more here. Let's get... And then over here down the sides of your face. Yes, and under your chin. Yeah, it's really nice feeling. So, I hope that you feel a little bit more relieved now. Just kind of, I'm rubbing in, Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here. Okay, now I'm going to take off my gloves because the last part of our journey is here, where I am going to ask you, let me just see here. Yeah, okay, I'm looking at my little list here and I don't see anything else, so can I have your passport, please? Okay. And this is a beautiful passport. I really love this blue. It reminds me of France for some reason. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take a look. And we'll give it the stamp. Because... Yes, I see you do travel to France a lot. Oh, I see here. You've actually been to the execution of Louis the 16th, Marie Antoinette's husband. Was that? I would imagine so. Very brutal. They said that they held up his head and that there was just blood everywhere, and people put their hands in the blood and they reveled in it. Is that true? Okay. So I see here Yes, so you know the protocol very well here. Oh, and you've been to Italy. Okay. Yes, okay, let me just go ahead and give it a little stamp here. It's a virtual stamp. Okay. And you are all good. There you go. It shows that you've been here to Versailles in 1775 for approximately 5 days, I believe it said. And you've got 2 days left. Okay. So here's your passport, and enjoy your time. That shows also that I did a checkup on you, so it's not just visiting, of course. Okay, and once again, I'm from Bosworth Corporation. That is who you are time traveling with today. And my name is Bosworth ASMR. Okay, and you have your button. In case anything happens, you just press your button and I will be here to help you. Or if you press right in the center here as I'm going to, you just switch it on and then you press in the center. It'll land you immediately right back into Bosworth Corporation's lobby. So, okay, let me know if there's anything else I could do for you. You're good? Okay, great. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your days and that you have a wonderful time at the ball here in Versailles.